You don't become a millionaire by chance. You become one by choice. Most people pray for success, but live like it's optional. You want to break the cycle, you want wealth? Then you need discipline, not motivation. This isn't a feel-good speech. This is a blueprint, 10 core daily habits that took people from dead broke to unstoppable millionaires. Every millionaire you admire today once stood where you are. They had doubt, they had fear. But what they didn't do was waste time. They built a routine, a system, a daily path to success that turned ordinary days into extraordinary wealth. And today, I'm revealing those 10 millionaire habits you need to build daily. If you ever want to escape mediocrity and claim the life you were born for, these aren't random tips. These are the exact daily non-negotiables that separated the rich from the broke, the focused from the distracted, the winners from the watchers. If you want to become a millionaire, master these 10 habits and repeat them every single day. 1. Wake up before the world. Waking up early isn't just a productivity hack. It's a mental reset button that the most successful people use to dominate their day before the world can interrupt them. When a millionaire wakes up at 4:30 or 500 a.m., they're not just beating the sun. They're beating distractions, noise, and the reactive mindset that controls most people's lives. In the early hours, the phone is silent, the emails haven't started piling up, and the world hasn't started making demands. That silence becomes power. It becomes space. And in that space, millionaires create structure. This is when decisions get made. Not just what to wear or what to eat, but what battles are worth fighting today. What priorities are non-negotiable? What distractions must be eliminated? The early morning is where they review their goals, their numbers, their metrics, and most importantly, themselves. They're not rushed. They're not chasing time. They are owning it. That's why they never wake up to an alarm and hit snooze. That single decision, snoozing, is the first sign that you're choosing comfort over growth. Millionaires refuse that compromise. They treat the first minutes of their day like gold, not like something to throw away in bed. They often use this time for something called preemptive alignment, aligning their body, mind, and goals before the chaos of the world creeps in. This might include 10 minutes of stillness, breathwork, gratitude, or visualizing how they want the day to unfold. It's not about perfection. It's about control. Because when you win the morning, you build the confidence to win the rest of the day. There's also a psychological edge. Waking up early gives a sense of discipline that compounds. It's not just about having more hours, it's about having hours with intention. By 7 a.m., many millionaires have already trained, journaled, and outlined the day. Most people are still groggy, sipping coffee, and scrolling their phone. That contrast in routine is exactly why success compounds for some and stalls for others. Because when you repeatedly wake up before the world, you're not just waking up earlier. You're living differently. You're living intentionally. You're not reacting to life. You're building it one quiet hour at a time too. Master the morning with purpose. The way you spend the first hour of your day sets the psychological tone for everything that follows. Millionaires don't stumble into their day with noise and distraction. They step into it with intention and clarity. That first hour is sacred. It's not about rushing. It's about reclaiming mental control before the world pulls it away. Instead of waking up and checking notifications, the wealthy consciously avoid digital distractions. They understand that the second you open your phone, your brain starts reacting. Someone else's text, someone else's opinion, someone else's emergency. Millionaires reject that pattern. The first hour is theirs. No emails, no scrolling, No drama. They often start by aligning the mind before engaging the world. This might look like meditation, deep breathing, or simply sitting in silence. Not to be spiritual, although that's often a benefit, but to access a space of mental stillness where priorities can be seen clearly. Because when your mind is still, your decisions are sharper. When your mind is chaotic, your day will reflect that. Journaling is another major practice. It's not about writing essays. It's about unloading thoughts, setting goals, reviewing the mission, and reminding themselves why they do what they do. Some write affirmations. Some write problems they need to solve. Some plan out their top 3 priorities. Either way, it gives them a written roadmap to follow instead of just winging it. Reading is another core habit. Even 10 pages a day compounds into massive knowledge over time. Millionaires treat reading like an investment, not a luxury. In the morning, the brain is fresh and absorbent. That's when it's hungry for high-value information about money, leadership, psychology, health, strategy. Feeding it junk is a waste. Feeding it wisdom builds long-term power. Fitness is often part of the early routine, but not always the first thing. What's more consistent is the mindset. The day starts on offense, not defense. No reacting, no waiting. Millionaires use this hour to mentally rehearse how they will attack the day. They visualize. They prepare. They prime their emotions and energy to match their highest values. This is what separates them from the average person who hits snooze, checks Instagram, and chases the clock from the moment they open their eyes. Millionaires don't hope for a good day. They design it in the first 60 minutes. 3. Move the body, discipline the mind. For millionaires, physical training is far more than just aesthetics or health. It's a daily battle with resistance that sharpens their edge. They understand one universal truth: if you can control your body, you can control your mind. Every morning workout is a test of willpower. It's not just lifting weights or going for a run. It's a silent war against laziness, comfort, and weakness. And they choose to win that war before breakfast. Physical movement activates more than muscles. It activates mental clarity, emotional regulation, and inner focus. Millionaires don't train because they have time. They train because they've learned that when you train your body, you train your discipline. The sweat, the burn, the fatigue, those are daily reminders that growth never feels good. And that's the point. They welcome discomfort because discomfort is where strength is built. Whether it's an intense gym session, running at sunrise, doing cold plunges, or yoga for recovery, movement is non-negotiable. It sharpens the nervous system, boosts dopamine, and builds a mindset of resilience and intentional suffering. When most people are still in bed, millionaires are pushing themselves to the edge of their comfort zone. Not because they want to, because they must. This habit spills into every area of life. A person who chooses to endure physical pain and show up consistently, even when motivation is gone, becomes the kind of person who can lead companies, make hard decisions, and push through setbacks. Exercise becomes a metaphor for life reps, resistance, discipline, adaptation. It's not about ego, it's about mental fortitude. There's also the neurological edge. Morning movement increases cognitive performance, improves memory, sharpens focus, and enhances creativity. Millionaires aren't just moving to stay in shape. They're moving to stay mentally lethal. In business, leadership, or investing, clarity under pressure is everything. And nothing builds that like physical strain under controlled conditions. Moreover, movement gives them a psychological win early in the day. When the body is tested and the sweat is earned, confidence follows. That confidence bleeds into meetings, decisions, and negotiations. You carry yourself differently when your body is strong. You speak differently. You think differently. You command the room without saying a word. Millionaires don't train for the gym. They train for life for guard time, like it's money. Millionaires understand a truth that most people ignore their entire lives. Time is the most valuable currency on the planet. More valuable than dollars, more precious than gold. Money can be earned, lost, and earned again. Time, once spent, is gone forever. That's why the wealthy protect their time with the same intensity a warrior guards a castle. Every minute matters because every minute invested correctly moves them closer to financial freedom, legacy, and impact. They don't just hope to have time for important things. They plan for it. Their calendar is not a suggestion, it's a system. Every block of time is dedicated with intention. Whether it's deep work, team meetings, workouts, or even family time, it's scheduled, not squeezed in. Randomness is the enemy of growth. Millionaires create structure around their time so they can control their energy and output, not waste it chasing low-value distractions. They say no often, without guilt. Millionaires understand that every yes is a no to something else, usually something more important. They don't people please. They don't attend meaningless meetings or take calls out of obligation. They filter every request through a brutal lens. Does this align with my mission? If it doesn't, it's eliminated, not postponed, cut out completely. This is how they create focus blocks. Dedicated, uninterrupted time to do the most important work. Not multitasking, not reacting to notifications, but going deep on the tasks that move the needle. Building systems, making key decisions, analyzing strategy. While average people are distracted every few minutes by their phones, millionaires are locked in, completely absorbed in high leverage work that compounds over time. They also understand the concept of energy cycles. They know when they work best and organize their schedule around it. If their peak focus is from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., that time is reserved for deep creation, not shallow admin work. They don't just manage time. They manage energy inside time. That's how they outperform others without burning out. Millionaires treat time like a finite asset because it is. That's why they invest in tools, teams, and systems that buy back time. They delegate aggressively, automate relentlessly, and prioritize obsessively. Every hour they protect is an hour they can use to build, scale, learn, or rest with intention. Attack the hardest task first. Millionaires don't wake up to ease into comfort. They wake up to conquer the hardest challenge of the day while the world is still quiet and their mind is still sharp. This isn't just about productivity. It's a psychological strategy to build momentum and control. They know that if you delay the most difficult task, it grows in your mind, steals your focus, and drains your energy before you've even started. That's why they tackle it first, not second, not later. First, the hardest task is usually the one that matters most, the one that brings growth, income, or results, but also resistance, fear, or discomfort. It might be a difficult sales call, building a new pitch, finalizing a proposal, fixing a broken system, or making a critical decision that carries risk. Whatever it is, millionaires don't avoid the discomfort. They lean into it because they know that everything they want is on the other side of that resistance. This mindset is called eating the frog, a principle made popular by productivity experts, but mastered by the ultra-successful. The frog is the one thing you're most likely to procrastinate on. It's the thing that matters most, but feels the hardest. Millionaires train themselves to eat that frog while their willpower is still full. They don't rely on motivation. They rely on discipline. By attacking the hardest task first, They achieve an emotional win early in the day. That win breeds confidence. That confidence sets the tone. And that tone becomes momentum that carries into every action that follows. Once the big task is behind them, everything else feels lighter. The day feels under control. Their mind is clearer. And their capacity to make fast, high-quality decisions increases dramatically. This habit separates top performers from average workers who spend the first half of their day checking emails, attending low-value meetings, or handling minor tasks that feel busy but change nothing. Millionaires are not addicted to being busy. They are addicted to being effective. And effectiveness starts by tackling the task you fear the most. They train themselves to become comfortable, being uncomfortable, to face the thing they'd rather avoid, and to finish it before distractions can creep in. Because the hardest thing, once done, clears the runway for everything else to take off faster and stronger. 6. Never eat alone. Unless they're learning. For millionaires, every interaction is intentional. Every conversation is an opportunity. That's why they rarely eat lunch alone. Meals are not just for food. They're for connection, collaboration, and clarity. The wealthy understand the principle that your network determines your net worth. So they use everyday routines, like lunch or coffee meetings, as tools for exponential growth. Millionaires surround themselves with people who challenge them, inspire them, and force them to think bigger. Lunch is often spent with other high performers, mentors, partners, strategists, coaches, or rising talent. These aren't casual get-togethers. These are focused exchanges. They talk about ideas, market trends, future plays, mental models, systems, and strategies. It's not gossip. It's growth. While most people are scrolling social media or venting about their boss during breaks, millionaires are absorbing new perspectives and planting seeds for their next move. If they can't meet someone in person, they'll often use that time to consume knowledge. They'll eat while listening to a business podcast, reviewing an audiobook, or watching a lecture. They don't see mealtime as downtime. They see it as prime time for learning or leveraging. Even in solitude, they're building intellectual capital. This habit comes from a deep understanding of compound relationships. The idea that a single conversation can unlock a new level. A new connection could lead to a deal, an investor, a mentor, or a transformative piece of advice. Millionaires know that success isn't built in isolation. It's built in conversations. That's why they don't waste time in circles that drain them. They invest time in circles that expand them. The people they dine with reflect their direction. They seek tables where money is a tool, not a topic. Where vision is the language, not excuses. They want to be around energy that stretches them, not coddles them. They crave dialogue that sharpens their mind, not dulls it with comfort. Even when socializing, they're strategic. It's not always formal. It could be a relaxed meal. But even then, there's alignment. The people at the table share similar standards, values, and mindsets. That shared energy becomes a multiplier. It fuels creativity, raises accountability, and creates momentum. Millionaires aren't just careful with their time. They're surgical with who they spend it with. And lunch isn't a break from business. It's often where the biggest business begins. 7. Track progress relentlessly. Millionaires don't operate on guesswork. They operate on data, discipline, and daily measurement. They know that success isn't just about action. It's about tracking the right actions and adjusting based on results. Every day, they ask the hard questions. What did I accomplish? Where did I fall short? What needs to be refined, removed, or repeated? This relentless self-accountability is what keeps them sharp, focused, and evolving while others drift through life hoping something will click. They track everything that matters. Habits, income, output, meetings, mindset, energy, even sleep. Not because they're obsessed with control, but because they understand that you can't grow what you don't measure. Without tracking, there's no feedback. Without feedback, there's no improvement. And without improvement, there's no wealth. Many millionaires use written journals, digital dashboards, habit apps, or even old-fashioned whiteboards. The tool doesn't matter, the consistency does. Every evening or early morning, they review their key metrics. If they committed to reading 10 pages, they log it. If they plan to write for 2 hours, they track how long they stayed focused. If they missed a habit, they don't justify it, they investigate why. This system builds internal awareness and prevents wasted weeks or blind spots. They also use tracking to identify patterns, when they're most productive, which tasks drain them, how their energy shifts based on sleep, diet, and stress. Over time, they craft a personal playbook for peak performance. Millionaires don't leave success to motivation. They engineer it with numbers and patterns. More importantly, tracking gives them an edge over the competition. While others are focused on doing more, they're focused on doing better. They can see what's working and double down on it, while quickly discarding what's not. They aren't emotionally attached to routines. They're committed to what produces results. Even financially, they know their numbers. Daily cash flow, expenses, investments, returns, margins. They don't wait for a quarterly report to find out they're bleeding. They check the pulse daily. Because they treat their time, energy, and money like a business, with precision, responsibility, and ruthless clarity. Millionaires understand that tracking is not about being rigid. It's about being intentional. It's a mirror that reflects reality, not illusion. It tells the truth when motivation lies. It gives direction when emotions create fog. And over time, it separates those who wish from those who win. 8. Live on a calendar, not a clock. Millionaires don't chase the hours. They command their day through structured scheduling. They don't ask, "What time is it?" They ask, "What's next?" Because the difference between the successful and the scattered is this: the successful live by a calendar, while everyone else reacts to a clock. The calendar is their battlefield. It tells them where to be, what to focus on, and how to manage their energy for maximum impact. While average people try to find time, millionaires make time. They block it, protect it, and assign every hour a purpose. Whether it's a 90-minute deep work sprint, a 15-minute call, or a 30-minute walk to reset the mind, every minute is scheduled with intention. There's no room for drift. The calendar doesn't just remind them, it directs them. They understand that the human brain performs best under clear boundaries. When you live without a schedule, you invite chaos. Decisions pile up. Fatigue sets in. But when the day is pre-planned, decisions are already made, and energy is saved for execution, not debating what to do next. This is how millionaires eliminate friction and overwhelm. They operate from design, not from default. This habit also helps them prioritize what truly matters. Instead of starting the day with emails or reactive tasks, they block the first few hours for strategic work, writing, building, closing deals, creating value. Admin tasks, calls, and meetings are pushed to low energy parts of the day. They don't let busy work steal their brain power. Their calendar reflects their goals, not their distractions. They also schedule time for recovery, workouts, reading, family, solitude. Because high performance isn't about hustle until burnout. It's about high output with high recovery. And recovery isn't left to chance. It's built into the day. Just like any other priority, it has a time and a place. Living on a calendar also means learning how to say no with confidence. If something isn't on the calendar, it doesn't exist. That's not arrogance. It's clarity. Millionaires know that protecting their time is protecting their vision. They aren't just managing hours, they're shaping legacies through the structure of their days. Even spontaneous creativity or exploration is given a window. Because within boundaries, freedom thrives. The calendar gives them control, discipline, and room to expand without chaos. It removes emotional decisions and replaces them with strategic commitments. 9. Compound knowledge daily. Millionaires treat knowledge the way others treat money, as a resource that must be compounded over time. They know that wealth follows wisdom, and if they want to stay ahead, they need to keep learning. Every single day, without fail, they feed their minds. It's not occasional. It's not when they have time. It's a non-negotiable part of their daily routine. Because they understand the law of compounding doesn't just apply to money, it applies to information, skill, and insight. They read books on business, psychology, finance, leadership, and human behavior. They listen to podcasts from experts in emerging fields. They attend seminars, watch lectures, analyze case studies. They stay curious, hungry, and humble. And they do it daily, not for entertainment, but for elevation. While others are binge watching shows or endlessly scrolling social media, millionaires are expanding their minds, preparing for opportunities before they arise. They also understand that the right knowledge at the right time can unlock massive leverage. One new idea, one upgraded skill, one strategic insight can change the trajectory of an entire business. They're not trying to know everything. They're trying to absorb what matters and apply it relentlessly. Because knowledge alone is not power. Applied knowledge is. Many follow the 1% rule when it comes to learning. Just improve by 1% a day, learn one new concept, practice one new habit, absorb one new perspective. Over a year, that compounds into massive personal and professional transformation. That's how they stay sharp, relevant, and dangerous in competitive industries. They don't become outdated, they evolve constantly. They also teach what they learn. Whether it's mentoring someone, sharing insights with their team, or turning ideas into products. Millionaires understand that teaching solidifies learning. It forces clarity. It deepens understanding. And it creates a ripple effect of impact and influence. This habit keeps them ahead of the curve. It sharpens their decision-making and expands their mental models and gives them the vocabulary of growth. When challenges arise, they have a deep reservoir of experience and wisdom to pull from. Not just emotion or guesswork. That's why you'll often hear them say, "I'm a student first," because students evolve, students adapt, students win, and in a world that's always changing, those who stop learning eventually fall behind. No matter how much money they've made, 10 in the day with reflection and reset. Millionaires don't just let the day fade into the night. They close the day with the same intensity they opened it. With awareness, intention, and self-mastery. The end of the day isn't for mindless scrolling or autopilot routines. It's for review, reset, and refinement. That final hour before sleep is sacred, not wasted. It's the time when millionaires evaluate their performance and recalibrate their mindset for tomorrow. They ask hard questions. Did I win today? Did I stay focused? Where did I waste time? What distracted me? What did I learn? These aren't dramatic rituals, they're practical audits. A quiet, honest conversation with themselves that reveals the truth. They write it down. Some use a journal, others track it digitally. The key is consistency. Every day is measured, not just felt. Emotions can lie, data doesn't. The reflection process turns every experience into feedback and every mistake into a stepping stone. This is also when they look ahead. Millionaires don't wake up and wonder what to do. They decide the night before. Their priorities for the next day are already clear. The calendar is updated. The targets are defined. Clothes might be laid out. Meetings reviewed. Morning routines protected. They eliminate friction in advance so they can move with precision in the morning. Sleep preparation is also taken seriously. Millionaires understand that rest is a weapon, not a weakness. They don't glorify sleepless nights. Instead, they optimize their wind-down process to protect their most valuable mental asset, focus. They reduce screen time, dim the lights. Some meditate, others read. Many write down thoughts to quiet the mind and prevent mental loops from disrupting sleep. The goal is to create a ritual that signals to the body and brain, it's time to shut down and recover. This habit also creates closure. The mind doesn't stay in loops of undone tasks or scattered thinking. Instead, it resets with purpose. Millionaires sleep with clarity, not chaos, because they know that tomorrow's performance starts with how they finish today. And just like they guard their mornings, they guard their nights. It's a book into the day that reinforces discipline, preserves mental bandwidth, and builds self-awareness. While most people collapse into bed and escape into entertainment or exhaustion, the wealthy take full responsibility for how the day ends and how the next one begins.